So hello, Linda Page. I am so glad to see you.
Oh, Michael, it's such a pleasure to have a chance to talk with you. This is great.
I love it. So why don't you start by telling us about Linda Page?
Okay, well, let's see. Have been I've been curious about how people interact. And I did a doctoral thesis on conversations, and then got involved in Adlerian psychology, became a psychotherapist, and worked in the school that I went to, and started a new school in Toronto, a graduate school that teaches psychology and psychotherapy and emphasizes hands-on application. In the late, actually in 1997, some of our students came to me and said, we're using these principles that we've learned at your school in our business. Can't you have some courses for business? And so we put out the call to people, and the word that came back was that there was this new thing happening on the West Coast called coaching, and that's something that we should get involved in. So, pardon me, we started a coaching program, and at the very beginning, and started in 1998, and at the very beginning, I met a woman, a brilliant coach, Melinda Sinclair, who wanted to help. She had designed graduate programs in psychology, linguistics, etc., and went at her home, where she grew up in South Africa, and had immigrated to Canada and become a coach. And she said she would love to bring those two backgrounds together. So she and I and people that we met, early coaches here in Toronto, Canada, she and I developed a curriculum, which then we had accredited by ICF. We were the first coaching school in Canada to be accredited by ICF. I sat in my office at the school and watched people come out of their coaching class just so animated and excited. And I looked at that and I thought, hey, I think I want some of that. I thought, come on, I'm a big guy here at the school. I should be able to take those courses. So I did, and got my own certification in coaching in 2001. And back when Melinda and I were first forming this curriculum, we wanted to be taught at the graduate level, and we agreed on this. And this is kind of an underlying theme that explains, or an underlying interest of mine that explains my ongoing commitment to GSAEC. And that is, I said, I was enjoying the coaching session so much, even though I had been practicing psychotherapy for years, but this was just exciting. And so I said, I said to Melinda, this has to be, if coaching is going to become more than another management fad, then it has to be located in the academic community. And of course, that is to say, if it intends, sorry, my cat likes to enjoy this. If coaching was going to persist, then it needed to become a discipline, because it's in the universities that ongoing development and the history come together in the research. And so we said, this has to be at the graduate level. And so we were connected with ICF and ACTO, but I didn't hear anyone else saying, no, this is graduate level education, not just training for people who are out there consulting as coaches, or what became coaching as coaches. And that commitment that there needed to be a discipline of coaching that is anchored in universities. I didn't see other people talking much about that until I believe it was at the ICF conference in 2006. At that point, now you know that Irene Stein had begun research symposium that preceded the I think 4 of the ICF conferences, and I was all excited about that. But I wasn't aware of universities actually, coming to the fore for leadership in coach education. So at that 2006 meeting, there were a group of people who had been in contact with Ray Forbes and John Brent. Ray Forbes and John Brent are from Franklin University in Columbus, Ohio. And Stephen Brock is from Kennesaw State in Georgia. They had met and decided that there should be an organization. They had met in 2004 and decided there should be an organization of people who were teaching coaching at the university level. And they had a meeting in 2005, and it was out of that meeting that people came to the conference in, I think it was in Colorado that year, the ICF conference, and they announced a couple of people, I've forgotten some of their names now, but Rob Hicks from University of Texas at Dallas, Judy Feld, Diane Stober, and I believe Terry was there from Columbia, who is now, an important member of of GSAEC. So we got together, and I said, I'm in, this is what I want, this is what I've been looking for. And it was actually in 2007 that a group of us met and decided to form GSAEC. At that time, it was called Graduate School Alliance for Executive Coaching. It happened that most of the people were teaching executive coaching, but from the very beginning, we talked in GSAEC, and I was just reading some of the minutes of the meetings. We talked about our commitment to graduate education. Let me read you what was in one of the 2007 minutes. GSAEC is committed to being a key influence in the transition of coaching from a type of consulting to a recognized and established profession. So that was the big kickoff. We became a registered charity and started having regular meetings, 3 or 4 a year, an annual general meeting. At that point, we had what I would say about 14 or 15 universities who were members, and we commissioned a study of the coaching programs in universities around North America. I guess this was limited to the United States, but we found 124 coaching programs of some type. That is, some being part of a degree or master's or doctoral program, some that were 4-credit non-degree programs, and some non-degree not. Anyway, there was a whole range of programs, including at Babson College, and others, a very active use of graduates to coach current students. So those are the kinds of people who came together. Is this okay to?
No, that's wonderful. So the academic standards, I think, is really is sort of the family jewels of GSAEC. And when did that start getting developed?
That was in, let's see, I have my notes. Well, we talked very, very early about in 2009, right? Just as 2008 and 2009, about how if we were to become a discipline, and of course, a body of knowledge is one of the requirements that sociologists say makes for a full profession. And so we said, well, then what body of knowledge do we have? And we said, they exist. This body of knowledge exists, but kind of scattered throughout the literature in, graduate in education. And so we started pulling that together back at that point, said we have to have academic standards. And it was in the, it took a lot of effort for all of us from our different backgrounds to pull stuff together and say, oh, this is a candidate for an academic standard. And Terry and I started working on that in, in 2012, 2013. It was in 2013, we had planned, and this was a part of developing academic standards. We said, well, let's have an international conference. And we did in Menlo Park in 2013. And at that point, we published some articles, and one of them was called Coaching Comes of Age, Coach Education Comes of Age. And that was co-authored by Terry, Irene Stein, and I. And it was part of that first conference. And that's when we kind of declared to the world, okay, we are setting up some standards. And it's been since 2013 that we have worked on getting the standards together. The standards, I think you're absolutely right. They have been contributed, they amass the contributions of numbers of people who, some of whom have gone on to other careers or other jobs that have taken them out of GSAEC. It was in 2014 that we changed the name Graduate School Alliance for Executive Coaching to Graduate School Alliance for Education in Coaching. That was out of a meeting that we had to look at academic standards at Columbia University. And it was there that we realized we were talking about a much bigger view of coaching than just executive, no, I shouldn't say just, but than executive coaching. So that's when the academic standards, I think, really got legs. And we've been working on them ever since. In 2017, we had a joint GSAEC ACTO conference on coach education. And that was held in Toronto. So our school, Adler Graduate Professional School, sponsored that. And we met there, and that was where, and Mike, you were there at that time. That's when we pulled together several years of work on the academic standards and put them in a form that's very similar to what you see today. So that's the story. It has taken quite a few years to pull that all together, which is why we think of it as so very precious.
Thank you. What do you see as the future of GSAEC?
I believe that GSAEC is on the cusp of fulfilling that original ideal of influencing the very nature of coach education around the world. We're becoming more global, and we're becoming more clear about what coach education is, and about and identifying more and more people who agree that this discipline is worthy of putting out considerable effort. So, future of coaching, I think looking at the state of the world now that, we are still going through COVID, the state of the world is not going to come out on the other side of COVID and blossom into a whole new era and everybody is happy and prosperous. I think we are in trouble in the world. Our very existence as a human species is in peril. And I've been reading up a lot on the peace scholarship. And it's a consensus among scholars of peace. The one I'm most familiar with is Daisaku Ikeda from Japan. And the first step in the process towards peace is dialogue. Who is an expert at dialogue? And in particular, at dialogue that does not require you to assume that you are sick to engage in it. So coaching doesn't make you declare that you have some kind of illness in the same way that psychotherapy and psychology, it may not require that, but that's basically what happens. Whereas with coaching, you get people who are concerned and wanting to change and don't think that there's anything wrong. They just want to do better. And that kind of dialogue predicated on, we are already fully functioning human beings. And we can make choices to make it more possible for us to function in the world. I think coaching has a role to play in helping us create dialogue around the world. My dream, this is my personal dream, is that I would like everybody on the planet, every human being on the planet, to have a coach and to be able to coach.
I am so with you. I am so with you.
That
Thank you.
would
That's so great. I thank you so much, Linda. And this is going to be great for anybody interested in GSAEC or what we're doing to hear about the history. I thank you so much and really appreciate you.
Thank you.
So, thank you.